guys, gals, friends of YouTube. Love to Fly Hellies here. My good friend Jason up in Canada. He's my buddy that sent me the airplane, the trainer, LT-40 Sig Cadet trainer, and he is very interested in getting into some nitro RC trucks this summer. So he asked me to do a video for him. He knows nothing about these. So far he's never had one, never driven one. So this is a video mainly for you, Jason, but anybody else that's interested. I'm going to go over 3 different nitro trucks here that I have that I really like. There's a ton of different ones out there, and I am no expert by any means, guys. I just run these for fun here at home and with my friends. I don't go to races. I don't get really involved with that. I just enjoy running them here around here with friends and stuff, and my family and grandsons. So anybody that has any better tips than what I can tell him, feel free to contact Jason and let him know. I am very familiar with the Tmaxx brand. I have had very good luck with them. This is my second Tmaxx Stampede. I sold my first one, then realized I missed it, and then ended up buying another one a couple years later. I've had this one for 2 or 3 years. I now also have an HPI Bullet MT, and I really like it too. My son bought it brand new, barely got it broke in, got bored with it, and he's more into guns and stuff. So anyway, I ended up trading him out of it, so I have it. This is the Nitro Tmaxx Tmaxx. And this is the 2.5 version. They have a 3.3. Now they've discontinued the older 3.3. It was like $459 or $449 or something. The new 3.3 model is $700. For some of you guys that really get serious into racing and stuff, I'm sure that's a great setup, because it has telemetry with heat sensors on, you know, just everything you can imagine. It has a docking base you can hook up to and online and all that good stuff. I personally don't have any use for that. So this truck here works great. The 3.3 frame is slightly longer than the 2.5 frame Tmaxx, but the 2.5 has got tons of power. You don't think for a minute it's not fast or just as good as the 3.3, because it is. It just doesn't have all the telemetry and stuff on it. Slightly smaller engine. Anyway, this Tmaxx 2.5 is my grandson Seth. I got him for Christmas, but this is his first nitro. Well, actually, he has a nitro Stampede that's here at my house. He leaves here. This is his first one on his own. So he wanted me to break in the engine for him, which I'm in the process. I like a few more tanks of fuel getting it broken in. But anyway, we're going to go over these trucks for Jason, kind of show him the difference in the inside, what they look like and everything, and kind of give him an idea. I can highly recommend to him the Tmaxx Stampede or Tmaxx. The Tmaxx has reverse plus a 2-speed transmission. The Stampede does not have reverse, but it's a fast, fun little truck either way. I can't remember for sure. I want to say the Stampede's around 300 or a little over. The 2.5 is like 384. I believe, and this one's 2.4, and this one's the older version. It's still on the AM radio. I'm going to switch it out eventually. Funny thing is, every 2.4 radio I've got for boats, trucks, planes, everything doesn't have an antenna. This is a 2.4 radio system in this Tmaxx, and it still has an antenna. Kind of weird. Never saw one like that, but anyway, that's the way it goes. All right, Jason. The bodies are basic. There's 4 metal clips. I think you can see it right here. 2 on the front, 2 on the back that hold the body on. I've already taken these out. The body just slips off, and on this one I've got this little flag on here. So I did that one day because we were running 2 or 3 of the Stampedes, and my grandson was running mine, so I put that on there to identify it for him. Okay, this one we'll pull the clips out of. I'll lay those right back here, and we'll pull this body off. You can get all kinds of aftermarket bodies. You can get clear ones, paint them yourself, all kinds of cool stuff. So anyway, let's go over the Tmaxx first. Let me move it over here. I'll set this on the floor for a second. Okay, let me see. I'll have to get the radio in a minute, Jason. Let me go get that and I'll be right back. Okay, buddy, I'm back. I'm trying to get the whole thing in the picture here. But anyway, here is the radio. It comes with the Tmaxx 2.2. I think you can see that. This is a reverse. This red button here is your reverse switch. And you have a steering trim. This one doesn't have a throttle trim. And it has an internal antenna on it. But anyway, it seems to work great. This radio takes 4 AA's in the bottom of it. Now your truck, this box here is your receiver, and it's waterproofed. It still says in the book not to run these in snow and wet grass, but the receiver and everything's waterproofed in here, and my bullet is waterproof like that, and I run it in the snow and stuff. I've never had any problem with it. What you're going to run into mostly running it in snow or wet ground and mud holes is you're going to end up replacing the bearings in the wheels quite often. Water will get in there and they'll eat them. I've already replaced the bearings in 2 of my wheels on my bullet, and it's not even that old, but I've run it through a lot of water. It roughly averages between $12 and $16 per axle. There's 2 bearings on each axle, and it's about $12 to $16 per axle to replace those bearings. It takes about 10 minutes per axle. You know, it's pretty easy. So, but anyway, that's something you'll need to keep in mind if you're going to get them wet at all. Anyway, this is your receiver and everything in here. Let's turn this on. Switch on the radio. Turn the truck on. There's your steering. Okay. This little box right here that says Traxxas, that's your battery box. You take these screws out of it, and the top comes off. There's a little rubber seal kind of around it, and anyway, it's got a pack in there that you put 4 AA batteries in. Now this one is built to where you can buy I have one here somewhere. You can buy a 4.8, a little square battery that'll fit in there. It's rechargeable, and then this little rubber cap right here, you can open that up and put the charge lead from the battery up, or from your switch up to that, and then you can charge it without having to take it out. I never have done that. It's just as easy to put the AA's. They last a long time in there, so you'll know it when your steering starts getting weak and turns real slow. You'll know your battery's starting to get low. But if it's got good, quick sensitivity, you're fine. Your fuel tank has a spring-loaded lid to keep it tight, keep it airtight. On the Tmaxx, another feature I like on it, you can fuel it without taking the body off. The Bullet and the Traxxas Stampede, you have to take the bodies off to refuel. This one sticks up through it doesn't really stick up, but it's an opening right here in the body. And I put this zip tie on there so you can get your finger in there to pull up, because it's really stiff. But you can open that up and squirt your fuel in there and then let it snap shut, and keeps the air out. You got a line going, pressure line from your muffler, just like an airplane engine. It pressurizes the tank. And then you've got your fuel line coming out over here and going to the carburetor. Your transmission and transfer case is right here in the center on this one. This one, the Tmaxx, is a 4-wheel drive. It's shaft driven, front and back. You got a transmission right here, a transfer case here, drive shaft going up through there. Has an aluminum skid plate on the bottom. This is a very nice truck. I would highly recommend it. It's one of my favorites. Matter of fact, I'm going to get me one here a little bit later this spring. I do like the Stampede though. So kind of budget wise, the Stampede's a little bit cheaper, but this is a better all-around truck. Anyway, and you got your transmission and stuff here. This is your steering servo, or no, that's your throttle, sorry. There's your throttle and brake. And when you pull the trigger backwards, this thing has like disc brakes on the front of it. And man, it locks it up too. It'll just slide. It's cool. Really good brakes. The Stampede also has brakes like that. Now, other than that, of course, your engine's mounted back here. One thing I really like about the Traxxas brands is they have what they call an easy start. I think that's what it's called. But anyway, it's this little box. Comes with a rechargeable nickel metal battery, and it's got a little plug here, and then on the back of the truck, the Tmaxx is on top in the back of the bed right there. The Stampede will be on the very back of it by the bumper. You push this down, and see when you turn that on, see that little green light? Well, that light's telling you that these batteries are good. The other light will light up when you stick it on here. If the second light doesn't light up, then your glow plug's bad. But you just stick that in there, push the button, and fire it up. That's how simple it is. It's got a belt clip on it. You can carry this with you if you're out running around driving. That way if your truck dies on you, you can start it without having to walk back over to your bench or whatever, you know, your truck to get the stuff. So the Tmaxx has 4 shocks on it. They're oil filled, and you can, it's got little adapters that go in here to tighten up the suspension for different types of, you know, if you're doing jumps and stuff, obviously you're going to want stronger suspension. So you pull these down, put those plastic clips, and they're different thicknesses is what it is. Comes with a whole bunch of those. Basically, that's pretty much it. If you do crash one, they're not that hard to work on. The pieces are pretty reasonable. Now, a lot of guys that are really, really serious and into racing, they go through and they upgrade all of these swing arms and everything to aluminum. You're going to end up with, you know, $1,000, $1,500 in your truck if you do that, which is fine if you're really serious about it and you're racing all the time. We just run them for fun, so I prefer the plastic parts because they are cheaper if you do break one. And they're a lot tougher than what you think. I'll tell you a little story about my bullet here in just a minute when we get to it. But anyway, that is the Tmaxx 2.5. And what the 2.5 stands for is the size of the engine. And I can't think of anything else really to go over on that for you, Jason, but you can see the transfer case under here and the drive shafts and everything. Here's your steering servo underneath. And all this linkage is all adjustable for your steering or something, you know, if you whack it against something and get it out of whack. But anyway, let's turn that one off. Now, let me set it in the floor. And let me get my Stampede up here. And get my radio for it. And like I said, this is the older version. It has an antenna. I do have a 2.4 radio. I'm going to change the receiver out one of these days. Now, this one is not waterproof at all. Your receiver's out in the open, so you do not want to get the Stampede in any water. Turn that on. Switches over here on this one. My steering servo's got kind of a little squeak to it. It may need to get in there and take the cover off of it and oil it or re-grease it. Anyway, this is the Tmaxx Stampede. It's a very fun truck. It's slightly smaller than the Tmaxx. It does not have reverse. This one has the .15 engine on it. I'm not sure how that compares to the 2.5, but it's a screamer. It runs fast and it's hot. Fun little truck. The other one had a tune pipe muffler. This one just has a canister muffler back here. It has two tubes coming off of it. Here's where your easy start plugs in. It's pretty basic. Your receiver's mounted right here. It is not waterproof. Here's your fuel tank. Same thing. You got a lid that pulls up. I didn't bother putting a handle on this because you have to take the body off to fuel this. There's no opening. It's underneath the cab. So here's the body for mine. And mine are really dirty. We've been running them out in the mud and stuff. So they're real dirty right now. I need to clean them. One thing you do need to do ever so often is go through here and clean. You can see mine's filthy. I haven't cleaned it in a while, and we've run them quite a bit lately. But you need to clean your filter at least every hour of running. You take the little filter out and wash it good with soapy water like Dawn, and then let it dry, and then put about 4 or 5 drops of oil back in here, like after run oil or something, just to soak it, and that catches the dirt. Anyway, be sure and keep your filter very clean. This one, it's not really got a transmission. It's got a clutch and everything right in here. Slipper clutch, and this one's not 4-wheel drive. My bearings are, you can see my bearings are getting bad, and these back wheels, I need to change them out. But this truck's a couple years old too, had a lot of runtime on it. Here's your engine, of course, and I forgot to show you on the Tmaxx, but it's the same thing. Here's your little starter motor, and it's just like a starter mounted to the crankshaft on it, just kind of like a real car. And there again, you take your quick easy start, plug it in back here, crank it over. That's how easy they are to start. I love that. And the Tmaxx is one of my favorites. I don't know about other people out there, but I really like the Tmaxx. But anyway, it's pretty basic. Engine, starter motor, fuel tank, receiver, and it only has one shock per wheel. But like I said, it's a very fun little truck. I've had really good success with them. The engines have never given me any problem. They start easy. And after they've sat for a month, they're a little bit cold. But this one, you can prime it. It has a primer button. You can push that button up and down and prime the fuel up into the carburetor. And once that fuel hits that carburetor, it'll fire right up. So anyway, can't think of really anything else on that. Let me show you the bottom of it. It's got aluminum body here, but then the rest of it up here is plastic. Now you can upgrade all this to aluminum if you want to, but it's going to cost you. And I really, unless you're serious and into racing and stuff, or a lot of hard ground, you know, jumping and rocks and stuff, I'm not going to waste my money on it. But anyway, and the same thing, the plastic body just sits on here. I'll better turn this off before I forget about it. And that is the Tmaxx Stampede. Now let me set it down here. Radio out of the way. Okay. Now, my other one that I have is HPI Bullet MT. This truck is also four-wheel drive. It does not have reverse. It doesn't have a 2-speed transmission, but it's a very fast truck and a very fun truck. And it's tough as nails, and you can see how muddy it is. We had them out yesterday running them, and my buddy Austin was running this one, and we got in some mud holes and stuff, but it's waterproof receiver and stuff in it. Same thing, 4 clips, the body comes off, and it even got leaves in it. How about that? It's got the tune muffler over here. Here's your motor, here's your breather. It's a little different. You have to undo it and take it off, but there's a foam filter in there, same thing. You want to keep that very clean. Fuel tank with a pressurized lid, spring-loaded lid. This one has an aluminum base on the bottom. It also has aluminum trays for your servos and stuff. This is your waterproof box back here with your switch and everything in it. Let me find, here it is, on the radio to this one. Yeah, there you go, steering. This one has some trims. Well, it has a dual rates on it where you can turn it way up, make the steering very sensitive, or you can turn it way down for a beginner to where it doesn't turn very much at all. I run mine about in the middle, or a little past the middle. It has a throttle trim on it. You can adjust the idle up and down, and it has a steering trim. It says, yeah. And anyway, basically operates the same as a Tmaxx Stampede. This is my first HPI model. I've had no trouble whatsoever out of it. My son bought it brand new. He barely broke it in. He probably ran 5-6 tanks through it, and then I traded him out of it. So it's barely broken in. Well, it was when I got it. I've ran it quite a bit, so I ran almost a gallon through it. But anyway, it's a hot little truck. I want to say, if I remember right, it's about 325, maybe 350, somewhere along in there. It's a little over 300, I think. I can't remember. Maybe 350. I'd have to look, but I got all these at Tower Hobbies. Here's your steering servo on this one. It's on top. And then your throttle servo is right here. This one also has brakes, but I need to adjust them. They're not stopping good. And it kind of has a slipper clutch transmission down in here, similar to the Stampede. This one does have the 4 shocks on each wheel. These are your little drive shafts right in here. When you pull the wheel off and pull this hub off, that little drive shaft just has a T-pin on each end of it, so they're real easy to replace or put back in there. It's easy to change the bearings. Well, I just changed these bearings and they're already loose again. My goodness, I don't know why this one wheel's wearing real bad. But yeah, I just changed those not too long ago. Probably less than a half a gallon of fuel and it's already loose again. So anyway, I don't know. I'll see what's going on there. Pretty basic stuff, Jason. They're all real similar. The bottom of this one has a big aluminum skid plate. One thing about this HPI is you can get this. It's called a starter box or something. It's a box about yay long, and it's got this little rubber flywheel sticking up out of it. It's kind of spring loaded. Well, this hub wheel right here on your flywheel on the truck, I think you can see it. Let me get a little closer. Right in there, you can see it turning. what you can do on that starter box, you can set this truck on there and push down on it, and it will spin against that and start it. But it also comes with a pull start, like a little weed eater. And it works pretty good. You have to be real careful not to pull it too hard. If you pull it hard and jerk it all the way up, you'll bust it. But you got to be real careful about that. But other than that, it works good. Starter boxes, I want to say, are about 40 bucks that you set the truck on and start it. A lot of guys use those when they're racing because it's quick. They can just and start it right up. So anyway, there you go, buddy. I hope that gives you the information you were wanting, and you know, shows you how it works. The one thing I do on this one to prime it, it doesn't have the primer button. What I do is hold my throttle. I'll get somebody usually, because it's hard with the crank. Get somebody to hold the throttle wide open. Don't put your glow plug starter on it. Hold your finger over the muffler and crank it about 10 times, and that will pull fuel up to the carburetor. And also, the difference on this one, in starting, you have to have a glow igniter like an airplane engine. You have to clip the glow starter on here. The Tmaxx brand come with a built-in that comes in your starter box. This one you have to have a glow plug, which is really no big deal. So when I'm running this one, I just keep the glow starter in my pocket. If it dies, you know, off out there, I just go out there and stick it on and crank it right there. I don't have to walk back to my bench and stuff. But that really puzzles me about those bearings. I don't understand that. But anyway, there you go, buddy. There's 3 different ones. I would highly recommend any one of these trucks. They're, like I say, this one I think is around the 350 range. The Tmaxx 2.5 is like 384. And the Tmaxx Stampede, I want to say, is like 3 or just a little over 3. Maybe something, I can't remember. I should have looked that up. But anyway, they're all under $400, and a couple of them are closer to 3. So, and you know, you can get a coupon or something a lot of times from Tower if you order them from there, and get a little bit discount on it. So there's a lot of other brands out there, and like I said, guys, if there's anybody out there that can give him any better tips, this is what I know about what I've got, and I'm very happy with them. But some of you guys that have done this for years and race them and everything else, you might have some really better tips that you can give Jason. Feel free to contact him and let him know. Give him a comment or something. But anyway, Jason, there you go, bud. I'll talk to you soon.